CM Punk! What an amazing time for us CM Punk fans, or at least while it lasted because it was burnt down. Hey everybody, Son Gosoku here, live with my WWE SummerSlam 2025 Night 1 review. Alrighty, so we kick things right off after Cardi B is introduced as the greatest female rapper of all time, or at least one of them, and she was very hyped up for this show. The first match was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. So yeah, this match right here, I thought, hey, it was really cool from the start. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso teaming up, after all the bad blood. I was there at SummerSlam 2023 in Detroit, so to see them go from that to where we are 2 years later was definitely fantastic stuff. So yeah, basically Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, they come on out, and right from the start, man, they were showing how Bronson Reed had stole Roman Reigns Jordans and stuff, and so Michael Cole was even mentioning on commentary how Roman Reigns, he had new sneakers on and everything. So I thought that was a funny, hilarious detail touch. Did Roman even get those Jordans back? I don't remember. But yeah, as far as the match, it starts off really hot. All four men going in the ring. Roman and Jey Uso, they get both Bron and Bronson out of the ring, and then Jey Uso and Roman Reigns both call for for the production crew to run it back. And so Jey Uso gets up and starts doing the whole, yeeting, and it's really cool because Roman Reigns is now encouraging it. So once again, we're seeing where Roman Reigns' character has come compared to where we were before. He did, he was all about that whole no eat, and now he's, yeah, let's eat. I think he even got caught eating when the production during like the fan cam footage from the phones, and he's like, that's AI. So yeah, with that, from there, Jey Uso, he jumps off the top of the rope and lands on all three men with a cross body. Then eventually, this leads to Roman Reigns getting wiped out with a spear outside of Bron Breakker, and that allows Breakker and Bronson Reed to both start working over Jey Uso. There's a funny moment too here where Bron Breakker has Jey Uso in a chin lock, and he starts singing Roman Reigns, you suck, you should have stayed away. I thought that was really great. More of Bron Breakker's personality coming out, and then from there, what we get is eventually the hot tag, and this gets Bron and Bronson out of the ring. From here, he does the over the top rope dive, which looks spectacular, but he almost overshots both men, nearly landing on his head. Yeah, that's when Roman did like that big Undertaker throwback, and you could hear the commentators, they're like, oh my gosh, like, man, the way I can explain it, here, I'll use my water bottle as an example. This is like Roman Reigns' head, and this is the canvas, and boom, he almost lands this, but he's able to turn his body at the last minute and land and basically evade disaster. So that was gonna be really nasty, so I'm glad that worked out. But yeah, crazy athleticism from Roman Reigns. He breaks that out every now and then. And then speaking of diving, Bronson Reed he does a suicide dive, wiping out both Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, and then this is followed up by Bron Breakker doing a massive leaping clothesline onto Roman Reigns, who's leaned up against the table, and that's just some freakish athleticism. I can't put over Bron Breakker's athleticism enough. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, they then hit the Steiner Brothers tag team finishing move, and we get Roman Reigns speared, and Bron Breakker, he spears Bron Breakker through the barricade. So, that's something Bron Breakker's been doing in all his matches, so Roman gave him a taste of his own medicine, and from here it's just pure carnage. During the end of the match, though, Bron Breakker goes for the spear to Jey Uso, but Roman pushes him out of the way and sacrifices himself. So thus, Bron Breakker nails Roman Reigns, and then Jey Uso from here, he lands a spear and a Uso splash. Yeah, he takes out Bron Breakker, and then from there he lands a spear and an Uso splash to Bronson Reed to pick up the 1, 2, 3. Thus, your winners is Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. This is about what I expected. I expected Roman and Jey Uso to win, but I did not expect Jey Uso to pick up the win. But I figured Bronson Reed, I figured, okay, if Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker win, I'm like, Jey Uso's most likely taking the fall. And then if Roman or Jey win, I'm figuring, okay, Bronson Reed's taking the fall. So, yeah, this whole match really, it really spotlighted Jey Uso a lot more. You know, Roman really kind of took a back seat basically, and you know, let Jey Uso have a lot of shine for this. But yeah, interesting. They did not pin Braun Breaker, and we did get eventually, because I think we're going to get a Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns match, one-on-one. And man, based on what we saw in this match, it's going to be great. But I guess they want to save that for something down the line, like maybe a bigger show, WrestleMania. But overall, it was a really fun match. Great opening show. It is interesting because I think we all have. We've been so used to seeing Roman Reigns in these big, giant profile matches. And when you come right over to here and you see this match, it's like, oh, you know, Roman kind of like was played down. He was the opener. He let Jey Uso have the spotlight. So, and I'm cool with that because Roman Reigns had a fantastic run over the last 4 or 5 years. You know, him letting his cousin get some of the spotlight, I think that's cool and everything. So, yeah, overall. And there was a lot of talk about would this be the main event, and having seen what the main event was between CM Punk and Gunther, I am glad that one actually main evented over this one, because I got a lot of praise coming for that match later on. But yeah, overall, really fun match. Alrighty, our next match was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez representing the Judgment Day versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Like I was saying in my Evolution 2 review, it is amazing what this storyline for Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, what just this whole are we friends, are we not friends type of storyline, which I found have to be quite wholesome at times, what it's done for Charlotte Flair. Night and day reaction, it's gotten over. The reports basically, as far as the rumors are, is that Charlotte Flair recognized this and she sees how over she is as a babyface organically, and they were going to do possibly her versus Alexa one-on-one, but she wanted to get it changed to be a tag team match. And hey, yeah, if something's not broke, if something's working, you keep going with it, right? You might as well. So I think that was really cool to see basically being done here. And then as far as the match goes, Raquel and Roxanne, actually the match, it starts off with a miscommunication from Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss because they can't agree who's gonna go on this. And one thing I really loved about this match is they did a really good job of, I feel, making it seem like, okay, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are gonna have some sort of miscommunication. At some point, this team is gonna explode or gonna implode, and that's what they kept kind of teasing throughout this match. So that was really good, helped the match overall. So Raquel and Roxanne, they do a pretty good job of keeping Charlotte Flair down until Alexa is able to tag in, and even doing some good teamwork on Alexa Bliss. Yeah, pretty much the whole first part of this match was all Roxanne, all Raquel, but Alexa Bliss eventually gets the hot tag to Charlotte Flair, and the audience goes wild as Alexa Bliss takes it to both, as Charlotte Flair's taking it to both Raquel and Roxanne. Just like I said, really cool to see the 180 that the fans are doing with Charlotte Flair when it comes to this storyline with her and Alexa Bliss. So she is really basically messing up Raquel with those chops, and the fans, man, they're going woo woo really loud and everything and stuff like that. And she even delivers a double moonsault to both Raquel and Roxanne at the same time. Alexa Bliss eventually then comes in for a punch to Roxanne, but they pull Charlotte Flair out of the way. I think Raquel pulls Roxanne. I forget which one here in my notes, but eventually, because the target of Alexa Bliss is pulled out of the way, Charlotte Flair ends up getting nailed with a punch. and that's one of those big dissension moments, like, oh, this isn't going to go well. But despite Alexa Bliss being thrown out of the ring, Charlotte is eventually being hit by a Tahana bomb from Raquel, and it's followed up by the Pop Rocks, I think is how you say her finishing move. But Alexa Bliss is able to kick out, so that was a really great moment. At the end of the match, though, a really cool moment that happens is the way they shoot this. So Alexa Bliss, she has the Sister Abigail set up for Roxanne, and the way the camera tilts over in the background, you see basically Charlotte Flair looking down like she's ready, she's poised, ready to pounce, and Alexa Bliss, she slowly turns her head towards Charlotte, and she runs towards Alexa Bliss looking like, oh, she's about to attack her for hitting her accidentally, but no, she runs past Alexa Bliss and delivers the big boot to Raquel Rodriguez, and then from there, Alexa Bliss finishes off Roxanne Perez with the Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3, and your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, who then do a friendly embrace in the ring. Another fun match. I like the way the story was going, and at this point in SummerSlam, I'm feeling like, oh man, this match was good. We've gotten two really good, solid tag team matches from both the gentlemen and the ladies, so right off, good start here. I figured Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss was going to win because, I mean, it's very hard to bet against Charlotte Flair, so yeah. I wouldn't have mind seeing Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez be tag team champions a little bit longer, but knowing how much they trade up these tag teams, man, who knows? And once again, really loving Raquel's more aggressive in-ring style, after hearing Kevin Nash's criticism and everything and stuff like that. I think it's been working, so hopefully we still get to see some good things single-wise for Raquel Rodriguez. But yeah, a great fun match, and I think overall still it'll be good to see in the tag team division where this goes with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Alright, so our next match was Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett. So I gotta be honest right off the bat, I think for me, this may have been one of the weaker matches, and I won't be surprised if it ends up ranking extremely low when I rank all the SummerSlam matches after night 2, but we gotta see how night 2 goes on. And it's nothing with the in-ring work. No, the Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross is excellent. It's just the match story-wise here. Let me get into it here. So Karrion Kross, he comes out with a huge ovation, rightfully so, and so does Sami Zayn. But I will say it was really cool to see Karrion Kross get a full-blown entrance at SummerSlam. And the reason why, because I remember being at SummerSlam 2023 thinking like, man, it's gonna be cool to see this entrance live, and instead he's part of that Slim Jim Battle Royal, and he's just walking out with a whole host of other wrestlers. Yeah, so I mean, it was like so much for that, and it's like, wow, why in the world are we doing this? So the action, it starts off pretty good between these two, and the audience is split. They're saying, let's go Sami, let's go Kross, let's go Kross, let's go Sami. So yeah, pretty mixed response. And so basically, Kross, he gets very aggressive as the match goes on. He's yelling to Sami, basically saying, say it, and it's basically alluding to when he was saying he wanted Sami to say Kross was right. And from there, they all basically replay the finish of their second match that was on Raw recently, where the referee is distracted by Scarlett, who throws in a lead pipe over to Karrion Kross, and before he can hit Sami in the gut once again with that, Kross is hit with the Blue Thunder Bomb, which of course very few times, as Aaron Riff points out on NoDQ.com, very few times does the Blue Thunder Bomb ever win Sami Zayn a match. So from there, Scarlett ends up giving the lead pipe over to Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn throws away the lead pipe, refusing to give up his morals, which pays off in the end as he is able to defeat Karrion Kross with the Haluva kick. Pretty much going about the way that I thought this match was going to go. And what was interesting at the end, Sami Zayn, I think, mouths the words or does like this, and I believe he was saying, "You were not right." And this is certainly a different 180 direction, basically a whole 180 from me thinking that hopefully they would go the NXT route for the Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, where that whole story is that Velveteen Dream just wanted Aleister Black to acknowledge him, say his name, and even though the Velveteen Dream lost, Aleister Black went on the microphone and said Velveteen Dream and walked off as the Velveteen Dream smiled because he at least got that acknowledgement for Aleister Black. So I was thinking, well, the least we can get in the story is Sami will look at him and be like, you were right. But like I said, from what I could tell, looked like he mouthed like, no, you were not right. And it's like, okay, what was the point of the story there? So like I said, I mean, the work was fine. Nothing against Sami, nothing against Karrion Kross. It's just, you know, it felt very much almost like a repeat of what we got when they had their match and was it Night of Champions, I think it was that King or Queen of the Ring or Money in the Bank? I forget which one. It was one of these shows they wrestled at, and they tried to play up a little bit of their second match, but I thought, you know, Sami winning, fine. I thought Karrion Kross could have used the win a lot more, but at least have Sami do that acknowledgement. So yeah, whether Kross lost or won this match, I didn't think it really satisfied me as a fan personally. I would have loved to seen Kross win, and I saw fan cam footage from someone's phone that they uploaded on X, basically showing Karrion Kross and Scarlett were shaking hands with the fans. So yeah, just very disappointing how WWE has handled Karrion Kross and Scarlett. You know they could do so much more, especially when he's gotten over, especially if you see some of the stuff that he does on his social media. But overall, this match was just more the same old. This is not what fans want to see from Kross. And I don't know, there's talk about his contract might be up and maybe WWE didn't want to commit to him. Maybe they were gonna be like, hey, we'll give you a feature match on SummerSlam, but you gotta re-sign with us. And Kross, you know, obviously when you look at the last 2 years of his run, or 2 or 3 years, maybe he's not so quick to sign. And if that's the case, they're gonna have Sami go in if Kross is on his way out. So just overall disappointing, you know. As you see somebody like Kross get over with the fans organically, and you want to see him get that push. And I just think missed opportunity. And this was kind of like one of the matches that I was kind of like, I because of its results, I was kind of down on it and everything and stuff like that. All right, so our next match was for the WWE Women's Championship. Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. All right, so Tiffany Stratton during the match does a lot of counters to Jade Cargill. Oh, I should mention Jade Cargill came out representing Jamaica, so that was a really cool outfit and stuff. Kofi Kingston had some funny words on Twitter/X about that. But as far as getting back to the match, Tiffany Stratton, she does a lot of counters to Jade Cargill. There's one funny moment where Jade Cargill, she knocks down Tiffany Stratton or throws her back in the ring, and then she gets up on the apron and she just starts flexing and all that stuff, and then Tiffany Stratton gets up and does a drop kick right to her back and sends Jade Cargill flying off the apron. And I was sitting there, I'm like, stay on her, you know, as a fan. I'm like, in the match story wise, stay on her and everything, in terms of like Jade Cargill, you know, none of this flexing. You want a championship, you gotta win that world title. So Jade Cargill, she does break out some new moves, like some sort of like spinning powerbomb. Like she's got Tiffany in the air and spins her around, delivers a powerbomb. That was really cool. Both women do a good job, I think, of showing their athleticism. And Jade Jade did a really good job, I thought, herself, showing that. At one point though, Tiffany Stratton goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, and Jade Cargill, she gets her feet up into the air to counter and then hits the Jaded to Tiffany Stratton. But get this, Jade Cargill pulls so far back into the pinfall, it causes Tiffany's leg to go on top of the bottom rope, causing a break. So essentially, Jade Cargill cost herself the match there. And it's like, wow, because they were very close to the ring, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm like, instead of getting her to the center, Tiffany Stratton's gonna put her foot on the rope. But no, Jade is the one who pulls back so far. She ends up rolling back, and Jade and essentially does the work for her, puts Tiffany's foot on there. So you know, as far as how that plays in the story, the commentators are talking about how that basically is the inexperience of Jade Cargill. So yeah, Jade, essentially the the way this played out story-wise is that Jade could have had this match won had she not pulled so far back and essentially cost herself the match right there for the championship. So eventually Jade Cargill gets Tiffany Stratton on top of the rope to do the super Jaded, but in midair, before Jade can send her crashing down, Tiffany Stratton sort of like rolls like head first, like rolls over under Jade Cargill's legs, and that sends Jade Cargill flying, you know, back first right onto the canvas. And from there, Tiffany Stratton delivers the prettiest moonsault ever to get the 1, 2, 3 and retain the WWE Women's Championship. Thus, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on demand, but I think this is Jade Cargill's first clean loss on the main roster. I know she lost to what was it, Nia Jax, but I think there may have been shenanigans with that, or there may have been something done storyline wise. But in terms of Jade Cargill coming in 100% clean, 100% health, going up against another opponent who's also at 100% health, wrestling one-on-one, no shenanigans, no story plot points of pre-injuries before the match. Yeah, this is the first time I think that someone's defeated Jade Cargill straight up clean, and I felt this was the hardest match for me to predict. I felt it could have gone either way. I could see that they want to put the title on Jade Cargill and just really start pushing her to the moon as a big superstar, or I could see, hey, they really got a lot of things going with Tiffany Stratton. They want to push her and everything. So yeah, Tiffany has really ranked up some big wins. Charlotte Flair, Trish Stratus, Jade Cargill, they're going all in with the Tiffany Stratton push, and I'm okay with that. Tiffany Stratton has come a long way in a short amount of time, and they've decided to push her over Jade Cargill in this case. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with Jade Cargill after this. The match itself was fine, but I do think I've liked some of the other matches, like the matches Jade Cargill has had with Naomi this year. I love those matches better. The matches that Tiffany Stratton had with Trish Stratus I liked better, even some of the matches with Nia Jax. So this one, like the match they had on the SmackDown after WrestleMania was pretty okay. And I guess this is their match more so trying to go all out. But yeah, even the way they booked this, like they've never put both these ladies out there for promos. They instead had them do video packages. They only had short backstage segments, so it felt like they weren't even really on the show for that. And that may have been by design. Maybe they didn't trust the women to go out there, obviously on a big show to have a promo back and forth or something like that. So yeah, maybe that. So yeah, the match was okay, I would say. It was all right, but not my favorite Tiffany or Jade Cargill match I've seen this year. Alright, so the next match, which I believe served as the co-main event of the evening, it was Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Pretty cool. Jelly Roll was sort of singing Randy Orton's song when he came out. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They talk to me. You know, that was really cool. And as far as the match starting off, Logan Paul gets a cheap shot. Well, before the match starts off, Logan Paul gets a cheap shot on Jelly Roll. Once the bell rings, Jelly Roll tags himself in. And before they even tied up, Wade Barrett had me cracking up on commentary. He was like, this is effectively Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul in a handicap match, and Jelly Roll is just there. But the audience, man, they were very much into Jelly Roll. The man hadn't even done one tie-up yet, hadn't even lifted a finger, and the fans are already chanting, Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll. They were even singing, Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll. You know, like when they do Roman Reigns, you know, they were doing stuff like that. So it was very much, I will say, Jelly Roll was very over, and I think that's one of the things that really helped this match was the audience. The audience was definitely super into the match. And so basically from here, the audience, yeah, they're very much into Jelly Roll as they start singing him. And he does a nice scoop slam and a pretty nice elbow to start things off. So right off the bat, we're starting to go really good here. We heard Jelly Roll's been training for months. He lost a lot of weight, like almost 200 pounds, I think. So props to him. And you gotta love it when the celebrities come in here and they take it serious. So the audience, yeah, from here, someone who was getting mad to sell for Jelly Roll was going to go for a tag on Randy Orton, but when he turned his back, Drew McIntyre smacked him upside the head despite Randy Orton pleading with Jelly Roll to tag himself in. Randy Orton then hypes Jelly Roll up, who comes face to face with Drew McIntyre, and instantly you can hear him mouth the words "mother effer" because Jelly Roll basically regrets looking at how tall and jacked Drew McIntyre is, and Drew McIntyre, he starts putting a vice grip on Jelly Roll's throat, and he starts choking and says, "This is the day the music dies." But he then gets slapped, and Randy Orton's just having a field day on the commentary, just like, just cheering up, just basically getting all riled up. From here, what we get for most of this match is a very slow, and I mean slow, methodical beatdown of Jelly Roll from Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. I don't know how long this went, but this went on for what I would have to say feels like almost forever. It was long, it was slow, and it was methodical. And hey, if you want to see Jelly Roll get his butt kicked very slowly, that's pretty much what you were getting here. So they were beating him down methodically in the ring. Eventually, Jelly Roll does get the hot tag for Randy Orton, and the pace of the match finally quickens, is how I put it here in the notes, as he goes to work. As Randy Orton goes to work on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. And this is where you start getting into more of the ring action and everything and stuff like that. So Randy Orton outside the ring, he delivers two backdrops, one after the other, to Logan Paul and then Drew McIntyre onto the announce table. But Randy Orton is laid out on that same table with a Claymore. Eventually, Logan Paul knocks out Jelly Roll with the punch, and from there, when I think he grabs, what was this? Logan Paul gets on, so from here, Logan Paul, he gets on the top rope and clashes two prime drinks together and delivers a frog splash from the top rope to Jelly Roll through the announce table. Now, when this spot happened, Jelly Roll could be seen taking his arms. He's taking his arms, crossing his stomach, and he had his head up, looking up. And there was so much time being taken out on this for Logan Paul gloating. I'm like, oh, okay, Jelly Roll's gonna get out the way, and I'm like, he's gonna show everybody like how quick he is and everything to just get out the way and stuff. And no, very much while Jelly Roll's in that position, he lands. Logan Paul lands on him and crashes and explodes the table. Great visual, but I legitimately thought Jelly Roll was going to be out of there. And I think this just comes down possibly to inexperience. Now, I've never been in the ring or anything like that, but just as a fan watching, it looks like wrestlers, when they're mostly out on the ground, it looks like, mostly, they'll be playing like they're out of it. And usually once the wrestler that's going to be doing the top rope move jumps off, and once they're in midair, I notice that's where the wrestlers, will usually have their arms try to cover up their stomach to protect their stomach when, a full body human being comes crashing down on them. And I think what Jelly Roll was doing here is he did that before all that stuff. He was making sure that he was in position the whole time. And as a fan, that threw me off, because I'm thinking, oh, Jelly Roll's gonna get on out of here, because Jelly Roll looks like he's completely conscious. It looks like he's just standing there waiting. It doesn't look like, he's out of it. And then boom, at the last minute, he tries to protect himself, as you see with most wrestlers. And granted, you have to expect that not everything is going to be clean and perfect for someone who is inexperienced as Jelly Roll at this versus a seasoned wrestler. But yeah, I thought Jelly Roll was getting out of the way on that spot. But other than that, obviously the visual looked cool. Logan Paul does a phenomenal job with that. From there, Randy Orton tries his best to hang against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul one-on-one, as they're really hammering up that Jelly Roll won't be able to continue. His wife's back there, and he's looking at his wife, and they said, I can't keep going, and they're trying to help him out. And this is very similar to what they did at SummerSlam 2023 with Bianca Belair, when it was looking like she had maybe injured one of her knees, and they're just taking forever to take her back and stuff, and they're lingering the camera on her, and the camera shots are constantly shooting back and forth between the action in the ring and from them trying to take whoever might be needing medical assistance. But Jelly Roll eventually pushes everybody away, and he's like, I'm going to continue to do this match, and it gets a huge ovation from the audience. And so Jelly Roll, he gets right back in there, and stuff like that. So from there, Jelly Roll, he comes in, he tags Randy Orton, and he delivers a choke slam to Logan Paul and a boss man slam to Drew McIntyre. Both looked really good execution-wise, so much props for him, and much props to Jelly Roll for hanging in there. That has got to be exhausting, to get himself in enough cardio shape to be in the ring, because, I think Jelly Roll had more ring time in this match than even Randy Orton, so, that being said, the audience starts going wild for Jelly Roll, and a lot of people are saying F you Logan Paul. So as we get into the ending sequence of this match, Jelly Roll grabs Logan Paul when he goes for a crossbody in midair and does a spinning slam. So Logan Paul really did a great job of his athleticism there, really helping make Jelly Roll look like $1 million. And then from there, Drew McIntyre delivers the Claymore to Jelly Roll, but then turns it into an RKO to Drew McIntyre. So after Drew does the Claymore, he turns right over into the RKO by Randy Orton. And after that, Logan Paul throws Randy Orton into the turnbuckle post. And from here, Logan Paul, he does the frog splash to Jelly Roll. And I figured he was probably going to hit it because as soon as Logan Paul gets up there, Jelly Roll, once again, he gets in that position where he's covering his stomach up and he's doing it where he's staying in there. I'm like, okay, based on how that last spot, that means he's going to probably land it, which once again kind of took me out of the match a little bit because one of the thrills, a part of it, is when a wrestler climbs up to the top rope and the wrestler's standing there. You don't know, are they going to move out of the way or are they going to end up taking the move? That's part of the thrill. But when I saw him do that, I'm like, okay, he's probably bracing himself already, which is kind of telling me how this is going to end. And thus, Logan Paul does indeed hit the frog splash and gets the 1, 2, 3 to pick up the win for him and Drew McIntyre. Now, I thought this was an extremely rare move. I actually had Randy Orton and Jelly Roll going over. I thought honestly in most of this match, Randy Orton and Logan and Drew were going to do the bulk of the work, and they'll just have Jelly Roll come in there for a few quick spots, do some big moves here, do a little bit of selling, but they would probably keep his in-ring time limited given his inexperience. But no, Jelly Roll got a lot of room time in this match, and surprisingly, during the Vince McMahon era, when they were bringing in the outsider celebrity, they would always usually go over. But here, Jelly Roll, he did, as they say in wrestling, the job. He did the job, and you know what? I respect to him. Respect to Jelly Roll. He could have came in there and been like, listen, I'm the star here and all that stuff, and basically, with him being well known in the country music and everything. But no, he came in there, he gets it. You can just tell he's a fan. He understands that, hey, at the end of the day, Logan, Drew, you guys are going to be here. I'm not. I'm going away on another concert, so let me make you guys look good and win and stuff. And so I thought much props to him for that. Overall, from a performance standpoint, I would say Jelly Roll's no Bad Bunny. He's no Logan Paul. But I give Jelly Roll his props for getting in there and taking a beating and doing what he could do and ultimately putting over the current WWE talent. It's not hard. It's hard to do pro wrestling. Much respect. Jelly Roll was talking on X, like he said, we got to end this whole wrestling fake stuff because he's like, he's been feeling it, aches and pains and feeling it every single time he's been there training. Jelly Roll, he took it serious. He went in there and trained. He got himself in condition to do this match. He was in there a long time. Like I said, the performance, by all means, this is not going to go down as, I feel, one of the greatest celebrity performances of all time, but I give him much respect for getting in there, even if most of the match he was getting beat up, to be able to know how to bump around, take those falls. I know you have to keep your head up when you're doing a back drop, a back body, flat back bump and all that stuff. So he took that table spot and everything. He took a lot of moves in this match like a champ, and I thought the few moves that he did do looked really good and stuff like that. So yeah, I just don't think they they shouldn't. I don't think they needed to give him as much ring time to just constantly get beat up so much. I felt that really hurt the pacing of the match, and I know they were trying to build up suspense for the hot tag for Randy Orton and everything. But yeah, shout out to Randy Orton, Drew, and Logan Paul, really doing their absolute best to work with Jelly Roll and make it a very serviceable match. And I will say, when you look at Logan Paul's performance and you look at Jelly Roll's performance, I think it puts into perspective what these men and women do for our entertainment is not easy at all. This is very tough to do. It's tough on the body, tough mentally, and just even as a fan that watches this, I respect what these men and women do. And looking at Jelly Roll's performance, you can see exactly why people take years to hone their craft at this. People take amazing, which is why, in a sense, you've got someone like Logan Paul who is a prodigy at this, like the way how good Logan Paul got, or someone like Kurt Angle, how good he got and everything. I mean, yeah, you look at that. So overall, I didn't dislike the match. It probably, honestly, when I do my ranking, won't rank that very high, but I give Jelly Roll respect for what he did do in the ring. If they bring him back for another match, I'll be interested to see where he improves it. But for what he did in the ring, I give him much respect because he took it serious and everything. You hear all this stuff about WWE and Travis Scott have parted ways and stuff. So if Travis Scott, through months of training, wasn't able to get to the point where WWE felt comfortable at putting him in a match, but Jelly Roll was, then that just shows you Jelly Roll's dedication right there, and just how much easier it must have been for Jelly Roll to pick up what he did in the ring than what Travis Scott possibly could have done. Once again, we don't know. That's all rumors and all that stuff and everything, but if that is indeed the case, that's what I have to say about that match. And now it's time for the main event of night one, CM Punk versus the Ring General Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Oh man, it was interesting to see how this was gonna go and stuff for something like this, man. Were they gonna have Gunther win, or was CM Punk gonna go over and get another world title and everything? And plus, we had the suspicion of Seth Rollins. So right off the bat, this match starts off with a filling out process. Gunther is giving CM Punk a lot of heavy chops through most of the first part of this match. Gunther really was beating the crap out of CM Punk for a lot of this match. At one point, CM Punk is caught up, caught up in between the ropes, and Gunther is giving him like 3 devastating chops, like boom, 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 and CM Punk's like linging back, almost nearly falling out the ropes and stuff. From there, most of the match, like I said, it's brutal. It's Gunther just brutalizing CM Punk, brutalizing this man. Putting some nasty chin locks, telling him, "So you want to call me a kid, huh? You want to call me a kid?" Just yelling and stuff, man. At one point, CM Punk goes for this sharpshooter on Gunther, but Gunther is able to overpower him and eventually put CM Punk in a sharpshooter. And as he starts flexing, basically while doing the sharpshooter, because of course he has his issues with Bret Hart, in a really smooth transition, CM Punk is able to be on his back, while on his back, reverse into a sharpshooter of his own that he puts onto Gunther. Gunther and CM Punk both are selling the exhaustion. They keep going back and forth with punches and chops. CM Punk goes for the running knee, but Gunther is able to counter in midair by catching him and slamming him down for the power bomb. When CM Punk is laying on the canvas, he tries to pick him up, only to get caught in a dragon sleeper. So that was the story of the match. No matter what Gunther would just lay down CM Punk with, CM Punk was always fighting, still finding some way to counter and everything. That was pretty much the story of the match. And When the Dragon Sleeper is applied, he's able to get out of it by nearly putting a Boston Crab, but CM Punk is able to kick away before he fully applies the submission. There's a great moment where Gunther goes for the sleeper, but CM Punk is able to counter into a Russian leg sweep. From there, CM Punk is able to land a running knee and he's finally able to get that running knee and bulldog, but Gunther kicks out at 2. CM Punk, he then tries to go for the top rope elbow, but Gunther meets him right up there with another devastating chop, basically, and that sends CM Punk to the canvas, and from there Gunther does his big splash for another great near fall, and the audience is really into it. They're chanting for CM Punk, with every time he kicks out. I was so invested in the match, had me on the edge of my seat. CM Punk, he eventually gets done, he eventually goes for the GTS, but Gunther is able to go behind him and turn it into a power bomb. From there, Gunther does a flying drop kick that sends CM Punk into the turnbuckle, and then he delivers the power bomb to CM Punk to get yet another great near fall. CM Punk then he sees he puts back on the on his knees and goes through just to keep chopping him. He goes for the knees again. Gunther is able to keep CM Punk is on his knees, and as he's getting up on his knees, Gunther is just chopping the crap out of him over and over, and then he eventually puts him on the top rope, and he starts basically hanging CM Punk from his legs from the top rope by putting his chin or his foot onto Gunther's chin, hanging him from the top rope. From there's the action spills to the outside. Gunther picks up CM Punk and he throws him side ribs first into the turnbuckle post. So man, it's just looking like CM Punk has put up a very, very valiant effort, but it's just looking like Gunther is taking him apart from here. From here, Gunther starts celebrating and getting onto the announce table, just throwing his arms up, and this is where the match starts to turn heavily into CM Punk's favor. And this is a pattern that usually goes on with Gunther's matches. Is usually when he's beating up people, as we saw in the Sami Zayn, he gets confident, he gets too cocky and arrogant, and it starts to cost him. So Gunther, he ends up getting his legs sweep right up from under him, and he goes crashing onto the announce table, and CM Punk is starting to get a second win. He's feeling it, and Gunther, he emerges from under the announce table, never broke, so he just like bounced right off the announce table, hit hard on there, and when Gunther emerges, Gunther is bleeding a gusher, blood just coming down profusely over his head, and I'm glad that Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were quick to bring this on commentary, and Gunther, he did a phenomenal job of selling this. Like, he gets in the ring, he's like, he can't wipe his eyes, and he's telling CM Punk to back off, because from what I can remember, I don't think Gunther's ever bled, so they really played this up like, okay, it reminds me of the Unforgiven 2002 match, which was the first encounter between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, and in that match, one of the big stories going into it, Undertaker was like, tell me, Brock, have you ever tasted your own blood? And it's like, what's going to happen when Brock has to, bleed for the first time from his head and starts tasting his blood coming down? So I thought this was really good, and at this point, Gunther's freaking out. He wrestles the rest of the match like he's like just freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. He's got blood, and Wade Barrett's on commentary bringing up a good response about this, as far as how is Gunther going to be able to work with all this, and he's never been busted open from here, and the audience is getting real riled up at this point, and I'm on the edge of my seat. I think I'm standing up in my living room at this point. I'm standing up trying to see, okay, how's this gonna end? And the audience, after they're getting riled up, you can see CM Punk, he's about to go for the GTS, but Gunther is able to put him in a sleeper, and it's not looking good, but CM Punk does find a way to escape. And as we get to the closing parts of this match, CM Punk delivers the GTS to Gunther, but Gunther is like, he's out on his feet. He's standing back like that. Very, very reminiscent of, if you've all seen that behind the scenes when the show's off the air, Triple H is just selling for the longest time, standing up on his feet. And Triple H, at this point though, CM Punk, he goes back for a second GTS, which finally nails Gunther down. And he covers him. 1, 2, 3, and the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk. And I tell you, as a fan, I did a whole lap in my living room. I was like, yes, CM Punk. Like, man, oh my gosh, phenomenal. CM Punk, the new World Heavyweight Champion. Phenomenal. Just, man, this is amazing. You know, before I get to the finishes, let's tell you why I am so proud as a CM Punk fan. To come back to WWE and have back-to-back matches of the night at SummerSlam in 2024 and 2025, because I thought that match at Drew McIntyre, in fact, last year at SummerSlam 2024, I ranked that as my #1 match for SummerSlam. And this match, night one, man, I think this easily was the match of the night. And then he comes back and does it again at 2025, match of the night. That's why I said this was rightfully the main event. And then to think he had the feud of the year in 2024 with Drew McIntyre. I mean, that was captivating stuff that he did last year, and he was injured for most of it. From SummerSlam 2024 to SummerSlam 2025 to go without getting injured, proving that, hey, those were just bad. That was just a case of bad luck, but CM Punk's body is able to hold up. He finally got to main event WrestleMania, and then he gets one last WWE World Title win. And this just seemed impossible in 2014 and 2015. I'm glad he was able to reconcile with WWE, and to think, Triple H being the guy in charge. You remember all the bad blood that he was so publicly about with his issues with Triple H, to know that, hey, he came back, he's working for Triple H now, and Triple H, he put this guy in the main event, he put the world title on him, just phenomenal. And I think CM Punk now is the first WWE, he's the first pro wrestler to be world champion in AEW and then come over to WWE and be world champion. Because remember, back in AEW, Cody Rhodes, he lost that stipulation to, I think it was MJF, where he could no longer challenge for he could never challenge for the world title ever. So yeah, this was phenomenal moments. I think this is just a really good love letter to CM Punk fans to see able to get this moment. I don't know if CM Punk was ever going to get another lengthy reign as champion. If he will get one, I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't even think he needs it, just because, I mean, it'd be cool, but he already had his 400+ day reign as champion, so he's submitted. This is just icing on the cake, but this is a cool moment to see. And then I just wanted to really make sure I acknowledge that first. But then we get to the next part, which is Seth Rollins comes on out, and he's on crutches. And it looks like, okay, he just wants to give CM Punk a warning sign. But then as he's walking back, he does this with his crutches. He drops both of them, and then he takes off the knee brace, and he starts stumping on it, and he's like, it was a ruse all the time, which I think a lot of us figured, because going back, even if you look at the footage on Night of Champ, if you look at the footage on Saturday Night's Main Event, when he did that backdrop, it looked like he really didn't, like nothing out of the ordinary. He landed on his feet right, bent his knees and stuff, as you're supposed to when doing those high impact jumps. So it looked fine, and then when you look at how look at Liv Morgan, they were very quick to say, okay, she's going to need surgery, she's going to be out and everything, but a lot of the reports were saying, yeah, like, we're told this was an injury angle, and they were saying that, the MRI, he went on a podcast talking about how, yeah, the MRI is not going to be is going to take some while to be up before we can get there, because it's too swollen. It's like, it just, something seemed off about it. I think that's why most fans could tell, like, all right, they're probably going to do a big cash in moment or something, and they did a good job of making it like it wasn't going to do that. But at the point right there when he took that knee brace off, because what I thought was going to happen, like, CM Punk, I was like, watch your back. Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker are probably going to come on out and attack you from behind, and then Seth Rollins is going to pull the ruse and throw it down. But no, they just wanted to seriously just focus on that. No, CM Punk is just exhausted from his match with Gunther. So from there, Seth Rollins, he ends up running down with the briefcase. He grabs Jessica Carr on the way and is like, no, let's make this a match. And he beats down CM Punk CM Punk is about to get him in the GTS, but he starts elbowing him, and the commentators are basically talking about how, yeah, CM Punk is exhausted from that war he just went with Gunther, and from there he gets beat down heavily with the briefcase to the head and the back, and the referee calls for the bell, and basically with one curb stomp, Seth Rollins pins CM Punk 1, 2, 3 to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, a lot of us saw it coming, but I thought it was executed very well, and overall, this is why they didn't want to do like Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. They wanted to really pull a fast one over one, but I think most of the wrestling fans out there saw it coming and everything. But just because we saw it coming, just because it's predictable, I don't think that means it's bad. I thought it made sense for the story. Seth Rollins vowed to never let CM Punk win the World Championship, which makes me think now Seth Rollins will be the champion going through all of what was it? Going through all of the fall. We're coming up going through all of the fall. I actually think that Seth Rollins is overall going to probably eventually lose to either Roman Reigns or CM Punk. But yeah, another heist of the century moment for Seth Rollins. I believe he is now 3 successful cash-ins. He joins Edge, known as Adam Cope, or just Cope now in AEW. CM Punk himself and Seth Rollins, they all 3 have cashed in the Money in the Bank successfully 2 times, and on top of that, Seth Rollins, I think, is the only person to successfully cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase for the world title in both the main event of WrestleMania and SummerSlam. So yeah, and hey, CM Punk, he got the main event WrestleMania and SummerSlam this year, so that was really cool to see. Overall, I'm looking forward to where the story goes from here. So yeah, overall, really exciting conclusion. WWE SummerSlam 2025 Night 2, because man, what a main event and what an even more shocking surprise. But we kick things right off with our very first match for the WWE Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Naomi. So as Rhea Ripley is making her entrance down, Michael Cole is very much on commentary talking about how Rhea has never won at SummerSlam, and Io Sky comes out, and Naomi actually gets a live performance from her father, who I actually did not know, or maybe it was mentioned on Total Divas and I forgot, but apparently he is a famous guitarist, and that was really cool seeing her father go ahead and play her to the ring, so that was awesome. And then from there, in the beginning of the match, Naomi actually exits the ring, so that's letting Rhea and Io Sky go at it, and eventually after the one-on-one portion, Naomi gets in the ring and takes out both Io and Rhea with a good chunk of this match. For this portion, Naomi is actually dominating both. Eventually, Naomi finally gets taken down because Rhea and Io are actually using double team moves to finally comeback Naomi, and they both are doing, Io and Io's taunt and everything, so that was really cool to see. And there's a really cool spot where Io goes for a clothesline, but Naomi, she slides under her. She gets on her knees and slides under her, only to get caught by a knee in the face from Rhea Ripley, and then delivers to Io Sky a razor's edge, followed up by a power bomb. But before she could even get the pinfall, Naomi kicks out. The action from here pulls outside of the ring, and Io does the moonsault off the top of the rope, taking out both Naomi and Rhea. There's a crazy sequence right here where Naomi does a split-legged moonsault to Naomi, but Rhea jumps off. Rhea kicks, I think, Rhea kicks off. She just kicks her off or something like that, and Io does the moonsault on top of Rhea, and then the moonsault basically from there, Rhea, this part of the match, it just goes crazy with the women hitting a lot of their big moves and big shots back and forth. As you could probably tell by me reading my notes, it was a lot of action to keep up with here. And it's just getting a lot of near falls. From there, Rhea Ripley is using the cannonball from the top of the apron onto Naomi, and then Io hits Rhea with a sunset flip outside of the ring. So she kind of like goes outside the ring, like into a suicide dive, and turns into a sunset flip, and then delivers the power bomb with Rhea on top of Naomi. So really cool, innovative stuff. In the end, however, Rhea Ripley hits the avalanche riptide from the top rope to Io, and as she's getting the pinfall, Naomi comes in and basically rolls up Rhea and pulls the tights, which is legal because triple threat matches are no disqualification. She gets that 1, 2, 3, and Naomi retains the WWE Women's World Championship. This match was excellent. Oh, man, like, shoot, when you put Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, magic happens. We saw it at WrestleMania 41 with Bianca Belair. We saw it especially in that Evolution 2 match last month, and you put them in here with Naomi, who is also a talented performer. You just knew it was going to be good magic, and that's exactly what we got. Now, I will say I didn't like this triple threat match as much as I liked the WrestleMania 41 match that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky both had with Bianca Belair, but this was very serviceable. It was an excellent triple threat match. Definitely, it's going to be ranking high on when I rank these matches, and this is a great hot way to start off night 2. These women I just knew were absolutely going to go out there and kill it, and yeah, nothing but good things to say about this match, and I'm glad that Naomi gets the big win because you just put the title on her, and it'd be ridiculous to take the title off of her. So excellent opening match for sure. Next match, WWE Tag Team Championship 6-pack TLC match. The match consisted of the Wyatts, 6, defending their championships, consisting of Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, versus DIY, consisting of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, versus the Street Profits, consisting of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, versus Faxium, consisting of Axiom and Nathan Frazier, versus Motor City Machine Guns, consisting of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, versus Andrade and Ray Phoenix. Woo, that was a mouthful to say. And man, oh man, this match was crazy. So I'm gonna try my best. I was trying to take the notes, but yeah, this match was crazy. So before the match gets started, we get Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley, of course, being the Dudley Boys, and Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, who are there in honor of the 25th anniversary of the first TLC match back at SummerSlam 2000. Man, I remember I was a kid watching that. That match was fantastic. Awesome stuff, and it's cool to see the tradition continuing here. Obviously, if Edge and Christian weren't in AEW, we'd be seeing them here too as well. Yeah, it's times like this where I wish that the companies could work together, because it would have been awesome to see Edge and Christian out there as well. That being said, all the teams, they just start getting right at it, just batting off, like boom, boom with their fists and everything. So as far as the highlights, and this is what I was able to get down from my notes, the Street Profits do a double backdrop to Joe Gacy, but miss a ladder that's leaning towards the ropes. And when they realize Joe Gacy missed it, Montez Ford, he's like, oh no, we doing this. So he goes out of the ring, throws Joe Gacy back in there, and they do the double backdrop again. And this time Joe Gacy falls on the ladder, and he's like bouncing off the ladder again, and then finally slides down. Even Wade Barrett on commentary was trying to say, I think it worked out for him in his favor the first time when they missed. So that was really good. So the Street Profits, they do the whole get the table spot, and and the camera switches over to the Dudley Boys, and Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon are just clapping, having a good time, seeing their taunting being used in the match, and stuff like that. So the Street Profits, they break out more tributes, this time to Eddie Guerrero, and that wouldn't be the first time we see Eddie Guerrero on the show in terms of tributes going on. They do a double Three Amigos at one point, and and I forget who it was, either Tommaso Ciampa or Johnny Gargano, but one of them throw Montez over the table, leaning towards the corner of the ring. But Montez in midair turns it into like a swanton bomb onto all the competitors outside. Just sick stuff, man. I can't give Montez for his athleticism enough praise, man. DDT. Then there's a DDT through the table. Okay, so yeah, this was really hard to keep up with, and you got to see the match for yourself. But the wrestlers, they all do this sequence where each of them from every corner of the ring, there's a table. We see a DDT through the table. Then we see a leg drop through the table, then a frog splash through the table, and then finally a Spanish fly through the table. The fans were going crazy. I was like, holy crap, like, man, this was insane. Really cool spot just going on right after another. Like, man, that was insane. Then we're getting basically where the women start getting involved, and it's kind of remind me, if you all remember TLC 2 back at WrestleMania 17, you had all the different all the allies, Spike Dudley for the Dudley Boys, Rhino for Edge and Christian, and of course Lita for for the Hardys, and they were all getting involved, and that's kind of what we had here. So all the ladies, basically, they're climbing on the ladder, and they're doing their trying to get the championships down for their respective teams, but they all end up going off the ladder. But the craziest spot comes when Candice LeRae is on a 20-foot ladder trying to grab the titles for DIY, and I forget who ends up pushing. I think it was Tommaso Ciampa into Johnny Gargano, and Johnny Gargano accidentally ends up pushing the ladder forward, and Candice LeRae, his wife, goes crashing 20 feet off the ladder through another ladder that breaks in half. Man, if you had Jim Ross on the commentary, he'd be like, by God, she's broken in half. Man, fans were going crazy. Sick spot. And Candice LeRae, though I didn't follow her heavily on the independent scene, I have seen highlights, and man, that woman absolutely had some bloody matches and stuff, and she's hardcore like that. So yeah, Candice LeRae very much could take it, so I'm pretty sure she was glad to be able to take that spot in the match. So from here, at one point, the guy with the mask, I think it was, in Faxium, or no, it may have been, was it Nathan Frazier? I forget which one. I'm trying to keep up with all these and remember the team names. Tries to go for an edge-like spear off the top of the ladder to Tommaso Ciampa, of course, being that famous spot going back to WrestleMania 17, where Edge jumps off of the ladder and nails Jeff Hardy, and they just go straight down 20 feet to the canvas. They're trying to recreate this, except I forget which member it was of Faxium, they go flying, and Tommaso Ciampa, the way he does it, the best way I can describe it, he basically uses his core strength to basically lift his whole lower body up, and he's like doing something like Spider-Man in the air and everything, and he's hanging, and so the Faxium guy goes crashing and burning, and he gets taken out by Johnny Gargano doing the kicks, and Tommaso Ciampa is then able to let his body go down. Just crazy core strength, and the fans just looking this. I stood up out of my seat in my living room, and I had to applaud him. Like, that was great. And it was so cool to see. We've never seen that type of counter, and there's been so much done in these ladder matches over the years, especially with, I mean, if you go back 25 years ago, what Edge and Christian and the Dudleys and the Hardys were doing, man, they were really reinventing the ladder match at that point, and we've had so many since then. So much profit, these guys coming up with new innovative spots we've never seen. And of course, so from there, when he pulls down, he's able to get his legs out of the air, and he's able to get back onto the ladder from there. And stuff, and like I said, I gave that a standing ovation. Now, at one point, DIY goes crashing through about 3 to 4 tables. I think the last table didn't break, but man, they go outside the ladder because Uncle Howdy gets involved and pushes them over it. And then after this, all 6 teams are cleared of the ring, and you've got from the Wyatt 6, I believe it was Dexter Lumis. He's like looking, making sure nobody's coming in. Joe Gracie, he Joe Gacy goes up to the top of the ladder and successfully pulls down the tag team titles to secure the win, and thus the Wyatt Six remain the WWE Tag Team Champions. I can guarantee you all this when I do my live stream to rank these matches. This match is finding its way easily, has to be in my top 5, easily probably going to be top, maybe even top 3. It's going to rank high. Man, insane TLC match. You know, I grew up watching those old TLC matches with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian, and much respect to those guys and what they did back then. And here, I think what we've seen is the involvement, the level of athleticism from today's athletes are just on a whole other level than what it was from those guys. And I think that's great, because it's nice to know that, hey, those guys, they did great in their time and they reinvented and created something that is timeless. But now to see these tag teams come in here and just reinvent that and make it like it is going to go down as one of the greatest TLC matches, one of the most craziest things ever. It was so good. They had a replay showing you just how all the different commentators all the commentators in the different languages were speaking, man. So it was like crazy. And so I thought that was absolutely awesome and phenomenal. Just fantastic ladder match. I really loved it. Hats off to all these guys, man. And thankfully it was on the card for SummerSlam, because they left the last TLC match off for WrestleMania, which was insane to me. So I'm glad these guys got to shine here. Tag team division is going strong. But that being said, I hope Triple H is done with this whole all tag teams on the roster feuding. I like to see the tag teams. You have 2 teams that are feuding, or you have one set of group of teams going against one another. Like, split these tag team feuds into different own separate programs, and I think it'll be really good, because there's no need to constantly just have them all involved and stuff like that together. I think we can get some separate. The tag team division is very strong on SmackDown. Separate them up now and everything, and put some good stuff in there. All right, so our next match was for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, a street fight. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, under the stipulation that if Lyra loses, then she can never again challenge for the Intercontinental Championship, as so long as Becky is still champion. All right, so Becky Lynch comes out to a new theme song from a band I'd be called the Wonder Years. From what I hear, sounds pretty cool. I'm glad it was not Def Rebel, because Def Rebel tends to have a lot more misses than hits when it comes to making theme songs that get you emotionally connected to these wrestlers, particularly outside of a few, and they pretty much do nail some all bangers when it comes to the Samoan family or the bloodline. That being said, though, I'll have to hear what the same theme song sounds like on its own and stuff like that, but it sounds pretty good. I did kind of pick up, maybe it was just a little bit more quieter in the arena, kind of a more chill, lower vibe. No, not as upbeat as Becky Lynch, but hey, that fits more for her character right now. That being said, from here, yeah, it does sound like a lot of work was put into it, though. But both women, they start off by slapping one another multiple times. When the match gets to the outside, Becky Lynch grabs out a kendo stick, but it hits out of her hand. But yeah, it's hit out of her hand by Lyra, who grabs a crowbar. Now, at one point, Becky Lynch is thrown by Lyra Valkyria into one of the ringside photographers by accident, as the man was walking across, and you could see Lyra Valkyria basically break character for a moment, you know, going like, Becky, like, oh no, I'm so sorry, and he's like, I'm about to beat you again, Becky, like, so that was interesting to see there. But yeah, they were saying no one is safe from these two women at ringside. So at one point, Becky Lynch, she puts a chain around Lyra Valkyria's mouth, like, you know, she's got it in like this, and then she like starts pulling back, tugging her in between, like, well, basically like the ring post, and puts her leg on the ring post and pulls back. So she's certainly at that point has it gets a lot of leverage on there and everything. From there, Becky Lynch then starts going ham on Lyra Valkyria with the kendo stick at one point, going from a golf swing as she was in Happy Gilmore too, so that was a cool reference that they made there. Becky Lynch, she eventually brings in a couple of chairs and a toolbox and uses the toolbox on Lyra Valkyria to like hit her on the side of the shoulder. Now Becky Lynch then zip ties Lyra Valkyria's hands together in front of her, and at this point I'm thinking, why not the back? Because if you go in the back, there's a lot less she can do to defend herself, because when you're in front, you know, she could still swing and, you know, do that and do some double axe handles and stuff, and of course this would end up costing her a little bit later in the match in terms of what I was saying. So yeah, from there she pulls out a wrench and just starts hitting Lyra Valkyria in the midsection twice. By this point, Wade Barrett on commentary is asking, what's the point of Lyra Valkyria kicking out when she can't defend herself? Becky then does the Beck Sploder onto a chair, but Lyra can't defend herself with her hand zip tied. And then there's a spot taken right out of Randy Orton versus John Cena in 2009, and I think it was that Breaking Point pay-per-view where it was like all submissions. And Becky Lynch, she then she sort of like puts Lyra Valkyria and hangs her from the top rope, and she's got her zip tied, so Lyra is basically hanging on there, and she just starts going ham. The first Kindle stick just completely explodes because it had been used so much, and then the second Kindle stick, she's just like bam, 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 just starts going ham on Lyra's midsection with that, and it's a pretty cool moment where Lyra gets Becky in between her arms, and Becky tries to get away, but she can't because she zip tied her in the front, just like I was saying. Why not do it from the back? So she can't get out of there, and she's trying to squat down to get out of there, but Becky, Lyra won't let her go, and Lyra then basically turns into like a belly to belly suplex. And things like that, and Lyra Valkyria starts getting back to Becky Lynch with multiple kicks, double forearm punches. Like I was saying, you can do that in the fore, and you know when it's you're zip tied in the front, because her hands are still zip tied. And then there's a cool part where she runs up the steel chair, jumps off the steel chairs, and does a drop kick to Becky Lynch. After this, basically Becky Lynch, Lyra, she does a no hands moonsault, literally like this. Does a moonsault off the top of the rope to Becky Lynch. So this is really cool to see, especially from this point in the match. Becky Lynch is losing essentially to a no arm woman at this point, basically. She's getting her butt kicked by her. Lyra Valkyria, she manages to get to the turnbuckle post padding remove, but Becky Lynch comes up from behind her and throws her out of the ring, but then loses her, and clearly at this point she's gone on the ring, and Becky Lynch doesn't know. She's like, which way did she go? Which way did she go? Where's she at? Where's she at? Now, Lyra Valkyria, she then unleashes a fire extinguisher on Becky Lynch, and after trying so long to break her hands free from the sharp part of the fire extinguisher, she goes under the ring, and then she must have found some sort of scissors or knife and everything, or maybe they had a ring agent under there that cut it for her. They had something there, and from there, it is open season with, I believe, a Kindle stick that Becky Lynch is just getting messed up with, basically that Lyra grabbed out of her hands. From here, Becky, she launches, Becky Lynch picks up a chair, but Lyra Valkyria does a drop kick through the bottom ropes and smashes the chair into Becky's face. From there, Becky Lynch, she tries to do the manhandle slam from the top of the steel steps, but Lyra is able to counter and do the Nightwing of the padding outside. So I really hope her tailbone's going to be with that, because there's not much padding support out there. Once the action gets back into the ring, Lyra Valkyria is pushed into the exposed turnbuckle that she took apart, and this right here, and Becky Lynch then delivers a manhandle slam to the two-seated chairs that Lyra had jumped off of earlier on, and from there, Lyra manages to kick out at another near fall, and the fans in the match are chanting, "This is awesome!" Because I mean, like, man, these ladies were going at it for sure. There's a really cool spot I've never seen before with a chair that happens, where Becky Lynch places Lyra in between the chair. So the way you have the spine part of the chair, and then you have the seat of the chair where your butt goes, right? So in between that spacing area, Lyra is put in between there. So she's completely almost bound. Basically, all you can see from that part of the chair is from her forehead all the way down, like halfway down to her midsection. And what Becky Lynch does is she sort of basically just keeps ramming her into the announce table front first, and Wade Bear just talking about how that's hurting the sternum. And then Lyra does try to fight back, where she takes the back part of the chair and tries to squash Becky in between the chair and the turnbuckle post, but doesn't work too effectively. And Becky Lynch then takes the legs part of the chair, and there's a space that she's able to put in between the announce table, and then she gets on the announce table, and Lyra is trapped right here. And the way they have it, Becky Lynch jumps off the ladder and goes right onto what was the spine part of the chair, and it sort of like looks like it just brutalized her, crushed her, like, oh, almost like her chin went face first. Lyra did a great job of just selling, great job of looking like she was out of it basically. And then from here, Lyra looks like she's about to get finished off with another crowbar by Becky Lynch. But as she goes back, and she's holding it for a while, I'm like, what's going to go on here? What's going on? And what ends up happening is it's Bayley who grabs the crowbar, and from there with the crowbar, Becky, man, from the crowbar, Becky just starts, she's basically doing peer pressure to Bayley, saying, do it, take her out. And Bayley's contemplating, but instead she ends up going against Becky Lynch there. And there's one point she gets Becky Lynch up against the barricade, and so Bayley runs towards there, but Becky's able to get out of the ring, and this sends Bayley flying over the barricade. And there's a really cool spot here where Becky is like on the ground, is on the table resting, and out of nowhere, Lyra Valkyria comes into frame with a top rope leg drop that sends Becky crashing through the table. Epic spot. Didn't see it coming. Love the way this was shot. This was phenomenal, and stuff like that. So as the action then from there goes back into the ring, it looks like Lyra Valkyria is going to win, but Bayley gets on top of the ropes and swings and with her fist wrapped up in the steel chain, and from there Becky, she gets out of the way, and the steel chain fist that Bayley is now rocking hits Lyra Valkyria, knocking her out, and Becky Lynch is then able to score the 1-2-3 to retain the WWE Intercontinental Women's Championship. Thus, Lyra Valkyria can never again challenge for the Intercontinental title so long as Becky Lynch remains champion. And as the match goes off here, Bayley, it's all thanks to Bayley. Bayley is just looking in disbelief. She's like, oh snap, because she knows she really effed up now, getting involved in this. Granted, if she didn't get involved, Lyra probably would have been done earlier in the match the way the story was playing out. Overall, this was an excellent match. It was, as you could tell by all the notes I was taking in it, I was heavily invested in this match. Man, I'm actually thinking I'm going to say it here. I believe out of the 3 women matches that we got, this stole the show. And I have been a huge fan of Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria's matches going back to NXT. I think this was their 4th match, and these women have killed it every single time. And I expect this to rank very highly when I rank the matches. I mean, right off the bat, like I said, I thought this was the women's match of the weekend, easily the women's match of the weekend. So hats off to Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for putting on another classic. All right, next up, we had Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match for the WWE United States Championship. So the story was like this, the MFTs kept getting involved with Jacob Fatu, and they kept doing all these 3 to 4 beat downs, 3 to 4 men beating down one guy. And as we basically go from here, We get what was it, we basically get this steel cage match to keep everyone out, which, you know, fans don't take that stipulation serious. So hopefully WWE would do the right thing here and have that stipulation get taken serious. So as soon as the bell rings, Solo, he starts saying, "You got one last chance," and smacks Jacob. But then Jacob responds with a hard smack of his own that sends Solo to the ground. During all of this, the audience is chanting "F you, Solo." So Solo eventually delivers the backdrop to Jacob Fatu, and his body is grinding down the steel cage, and Solo then starts mocking the tribute dance that he does, you know, to the boogeyman and stuff. If you go, by the way, if y'all have never seen Jacob Fatu just basically completely fanboying out over meeting the boogeyman backstage, it's so wholesome. Check it out, it's really good stuff. From there, Solo then is taking it to Jacob Fatu, constantly trash talking, saying, "Look at you, stupid now. Look at you, you're stupid now," and all that stuff. Solo, he takes his sweet time taunting and trash talking, and he had the ability to walk out the cage a couple of times here, but he eventually ends up costing himself when Jacob is able to, when he goes for the Samoan spike, and Jacob's able to use all that extra recovery time by dodging it, and he's able to clothesline, taking both competitors down. During the middle of the match, Jacob Fatu is sending Solo into several sides of the steel cage, like boom, 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 and then from there, Solo eventually he throws Jacob into the steel cage, and Jacob's like, nah, and he's all basically no selling it and everything, and so Jacob Fatu from there he delivers the moonsault on top of Solo, but Solo kicks out, and I think he did like 2 of them, and the commentators are mentioning that's the first time anyone's ever kicked out of the moonsault from Jacob Fatu. Then we get to the shenanigans. They begin where the MFTs, they come down for Solo, but Jimmy Uso comes out to aid Jacob, giving them super kicks to was it Tamaloa and JC Mateo, and Jimmy Uso was then wiped out with a big boot and thrown into the side, and make sure I got his name right, because I want to make sure I'm saying his name right. I think I am. Let me make sure I got it right here. Yeah, Tala. Is it Tala Tonga? Okay, got it. Make sure I'm saying it right. Tala Tonga. Okay, got it. So yeah, getting back here into the action, Tala Tonga. I'm still trying to remember these new names, so I know they had changed it. They had changed them recently, and so from there, Tala Tonga. At one point, the staircase door is open, but he ends up doing a big boot that lays out Jimmy Uso, and then from at one point, the staircase door is open, where the steel cage door near the stairs is open, but Jacob, he tells the referee, he says, "What the hell are you doing? It's all gas, no goddamn brakes with it, you know what I mean?" And shuts the door. So that was pretty cool. I love Jacob Fatu, the way he talks trash and stuff, and even from there, Solo, he gets the upper hand on Jacob, basically from there, and still kicks out, and Jacob Fatu still kicks out. And then after that, the other MFTs start interfering, and Jacob takes most of them out until Talatonga takes handcuffs and handcuffs Jacob Fatu's wrist to the top of the cage. And what's a real Punk move storyline wise, before Solo can escape out of the cage door, Jacob, a Punk move is that Solo's trying to get out the cage. Now Jacob, in the background, we see he's able to break off the handcuffs, and he quickly goes ahead and pulls Jacob in there, and from here, Solo's just not even trying to fight Jacob. He's desperate. He just lunges forward, just trying to get out of that, out of the ring, from there, and Jacob kicks the steel cage into JC Mateo's face. Unfortunately, in the end here, Solo is trying to desperately get out the cage, and I think it was Talatonga, Tomga, oh my gosh, I'm getting all tongue twisted with these names. Forgive me for that. He comes and swings the door right into Jacob Fatu's face and pulls Solo out so that he retains the WWE United States Championship. If there are people out there that wonder why professional wrestling fans, particularly especially here in WWE, don't take the steel cage stipulations of the purpose of just keeping out outside interference seriously, what did this match do? Honestly, I thought this was the weakest match of night 2, and I can be honest that it is going to be. I love Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu's performance. There's nothing against them as performers, but the way this whole match was structured, the story of the match, it just contradicts the whole thing. The whole purpose was putting the cage there to keep the MFTs out, and they got involved anyway and ultimately helped Jacob win. Why? What was the purpose? What was the purpose of doing this? Like, come on, like what was here? Like, were we gonna? You might as well just made it a handicap match. So it's like, I can't believe. Like, yeah, this was one of the things where I was kind of down on this show. This kind of brought the show down for me, unfortunately, this match. And then even after the match, they do this thing where Jimmy Uso takes out the rest of the MFTs, and Jacob Fatu goes all the way to the top of the cage to do a moonsault on top of them. And so that's where we get the really cool steel cage spot. And it's like, where was that in the match? That should have been a part of the match. But they wanted to keep the I guess keep the title, the US title, on Solo without making Jacob look weak, and that was their way of doing it. This was not it for me. It was not it for me. The cage match, I felt there wasn't anything that really stood out too much steel cage match wise, and it just contradicted the whole reason behind this. Like, why is there no stipulation put in place where Nick Aldis is like, listen, if they even think of so much coming down there and trying to climb up that cage, you automatically disqualify yourself and will lose the US title. Then they wouldn't have been so quick to interfere. But when you say we're just going to cage, what's stopping them from climbing in there? So yeah, this match didn't do it for me, unfortunately, and it was great because we were starting off really hot for SummerSlam, but this kind of brought the mood down as far as it. All right, our next match: Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. All right, so realizing this was the 20th anniversary since Dominic Mysterio's first SummerSlam appearance. Of course, the whole storyline where Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero was fighting over his custody and stuff like that. Crazy, wacky storyline, but match-wise, Rey and Eddie absolutely put on a banger that night. Phenomenal storytelling in that match. So AJ Styles, he comes out in a lowrider in gear, very much inspired by Eddie Guerrero. So as I mentioned earlier, the Eddie Guerrero tributes definitely were high here tonight, so that was really cool to see. So from there, the match starts off going back and forth, and the fans very much are split, chanting, "Let's go AJ, let's go Dirty Dom, let's go AJ, let's go Dirty Dom." So it's really cool to see how far Dominic Mysterio has come, even 5 years since he first showed up and everything in his first match with Seth Rollins. Fans, yeah, they're actually started singing "Dirty, Dirty Dom, Dirty, Dirty Dom," and he goes for a 619, nails it on AJ Styles, but then as he goes for a frog splash, AJ counters into a calf crusher, and at one point the ring turnbuckle pulse is taken off, and these guys continue a lot of their tributes to Eddie Guerrero as Dominic Mysterio takes a chair while the referee's back is turned because he's trying to fix the turnbuckle post, and he hits the canvas and throws it over to AJ Styles, and AJ Styles like, oh crap, I know this trick. So what he does is he falls to the ground and puts it towards his puts it over his neck, and he just starts selling and starts like shaking his foot and everything. So the referee, he turns around, he's like, I don't know who to believe here, and he doesn't disqualify him, which is good because that could have really backfired in AJ's case, because if it's disqualified, he doesn't win the Intercontinental title. So that was a really cool, clever spot. The audience, they continue to be very hot for this match with split reactions of AJ Styles, Dirty Dom, AJ Styles, Styles, Dirty Dom. In the end of the match, at the end of the match, AJ Styles manages to get the calf crusher on Dominic Mysterio, but the boot ends up coming off. And I already knew, I'm like, oh, they're doing a classic spot of Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 20. And from there, while the referee is distracted in the ropes, Dominic Mysterio uses the boot and whacks AJ Styles upside the face with it from there. And Dominic Mysterio then delivers a frog splash to get the 1-2-3 and retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship. During the post-match replays, it is then revealed from another camera angle that Dominic Mysterio purposely zipped his boot all the way down, making it easy for AJ to take it off when applying pressure on it. And Michael Cole also mentions how this is similar to how Eddie Guerrero defeated Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. So yeah, it was AJ was pulling that pressure on it. It just came right off. Essentially, I put in my notes, this match was one big giant love letter to longtime Eddie Guerrero fans and just overall tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace. It was great. I actually enjoyed this match that AJ Styles had with Dominic Mysterio more than the match he had with Logan Paul at WrestleMania 41. So this was really good. I enjoyed it. It was I thought the storyline was fun, had its funny moments, and overall really good match. And unlike Solo Sikoa, Dominic Mysterio, though he cheats, he still gets it done by himself and everything. So, different story there. But I think that creates legitimacy in terms of Dominic Mysterio when fans look at the two characters in the storyline and stuff like that. He didn't need the Judgment Day to come out and help him and everything. So that was very interesting. From there, actually, we get Stephanie McMahon mentions that the attendance is 60,000 plus. And so there are more people that showed up for night 2 than night 1. Shout out to my boy Rob Fury, who's out there. He showed up, I know, for night 2. And they say like both nights had an attendance, total attendance of 113,722 fans. Now, of course, a lot of those fans were people who attended both nights, so they're just doubling it up to make it seem the bigger, as it's the biggest SummerSlam, which Triple H, who was in the show earlier, mentioned that. So yeah, we had all that going there. All right, now it's time for the main event of the weekend. The WWE Championship Street Fight match. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. All right, so we get a really cool dramatic entrance with Cody Rhodes, and John Cena comes out with his old mannerisms as a babyface and gets a massive pop. The fans themselves are now singing the lyrics instead of chanting "He sucks." The whole John Cena sucks. None of that. Now they're singing the lyrics and everything. So Cody Rhodes, he gets very mixed reaction with when Alicia Taylor announces his name in the ring. And then when Alicia Taylor announces John Cena, he gets a massive popping ovation. Now, I'm going to be honest. I went into this match having grown up during the added, like I mentioned in my night 1 stream, having grown up in the Attitude Era and going to the post during that Invasion storyline. This had vibes to me of, is he the old Stone Cold? And then, he turns on him and everything. So I was going into this match expecting some sort of shenanigans, and boy, what we got right here was absolutely a classic. So both men, they embrace, and then they start hammering each other, starting to fight off. So starting off the fight really hot. As the match goes on to the outside, Cody Rhodes, he wastes no time of being aggressive, throwing John Cena into the steel steps. As the commentators state, how Cody Rhodes has answered very early. He's willing to pull the trigger, unlike at WrestleMania 41. John Cena then takes one of the basketball players who I'm not familiar with, because forgive me, I do not keep up with sports and basketball and all that stuff like that. But he takes one of his crutches and hits Cody Rhodes with it. In the ring, John Cena has the steel steps set up, and he tries to go for the attitude adjustment to Cody Rhodes, but Cody counters and gives him a scoop slam onto the steel steps that the fans then start booing. But Cody tries to go into the ring to do a top rope move, John Cena pushes Cody off, sending him flying to the outside. From there, John Cena then picks up the steel steps and throws them to the outside, hitting Cody Rhodes with him. And I thought, oh, he's gonna get out the way, but like, no, Cody Rhodes took that steel step shot like a champ. All right, at one point, Cody sets up a chair in the corner and tries to Irish whip John Cena into it, but Cena then reverses it, and Cody ends up getting nailed into the chair that he set up earlier. And from here, John Cena hits the 5 famous moves of doom. And before Cena can deliver the attitude adjustment, Cody Rhodes comes back with his own signature moves for a near fall. When Cody goes to pick up John Cena, Cena delivers a quick attitude adjustment, but Cody kicks out exactly at 2, and the pop is heavy for this for the attitude adjustment. Cody Rhodes he delivers a sideways moonsault from the top rope that John Cena then kicks out of at 2. Cody Rhodes then from there delivers a disaster kick again, and John Cena again kicks out at 2. Cody then runs all the way to the top of the rope and ropes and delivers a Cody cutter, but Cena kicks out again at 2. From here, Cody stands above John Cena and does a taunt like this basically, and John Cena is able to get in between them, and he goes under Cena over his legs, and he's able to he goes under Cody Rhodes' legs, and he's able to lift and squat Cody Rhodes up and delivers, like, I think it's called the electric chair drop, which Cody Rhodes also kicks out at 2. Cody Rhodes then breaks out the pile driver to John Cena, and that gets a massive pop, and I was like, oh snap. And I was like, man, I don't think we've seen John Cena take a pile driver since his awesome match in Monday Night Raw in 2013 against John Cena. That was their last match before their most recent match in 2025 here at Saudi Arabia, which, by the way, because I didn't do a review on the show, I love that match, thought it was awesome. John Cena and CM Punk just have awesome chemistry. I was there at Money in the Bank 2011, so it was great to see that again. But getting back to this match, quite possibly, I think this may have been the first time we got a pile driver at SummerSlam since Stone Cold Steve Austin was dropped on his neck from Owen Hart. Obviously, that shortened Stone Cold's career, but yeah, I don't think we've seen a pile driver at SummerSlam since then, all the way back in 1997. From here, Cody, he tries to pick up John Cena, but Cena quickly reverses it into another attitude adjustment that leaves both men down, and fans are giving them a standing ovation. From there, Cody and Cena didn't get back to their feet and start exchanging blows back and forth, with the fans they're going back and forth with the fans basically booing Cody and cheering Cena. So it's like, Cody, boo, Cena, yay! Cody, boo, Cena, yay! So yeah, and I like that Cody Rhodes working a more aggressive style in this match was like he was laser focused on John Cena. He was drowning out the noise, trying not to let the fans get to him and everything. So that was really cool. Cody Rhodes, he eventually is able to get a sit down powerbomb on John Cena, but before the count can hit 3, John Cena reverses it into the STF. Cody grabs the bottom rope, but there are no countouts or pinfalls as the match is a street fight. So Cody, he pulls himself further, which causes John Cena's neck to come tightly up against the ring rope, causes him to choke and everything, and so Cena has to let go so he doesn't pass out. Eventually, the action spills to the outside. John Cena uses a microphone and nails Cody in the face and hits a Canadian Destroyer to a massive ovation. So that was a cool moment. John Cena then hits an attitude adjustment to Cody Rhodes from the Spanish announce table onto and through the English announce table. Man, it's come a long way. Back when I was a kid watching Attitude Era, it was always the Spanish announce table. So I'm glad to see WWE changing it up now in recent years. At this point, I'm thinking this has to be one of John Cena's best match in years. And his matches with Randy Orton and CM Punk were very good this year. I really enjoyed those. I didn't do a review for those because I mostly focus on like the main big four shows. And, you know, every now and then I'll do something like Evolution or Elimination Chamber, something, you know, was big significant historically. But yeah, I did enjoy those matches this year. John Cena, though, he throws Cody Rhodes back into the ring, but Cody Rhodes is able to still kick out. At one point, John Cena charges towards Cody Rhodes in the ring near the corner. Cody ducks out of the way, and John Cena goes start them first into the he goes sternum first into the turnbuckle pads and gets nailed with the crossroads, which he kicks out of again at a near fall. Apologies if I stumble on some of the words here. Like I said, I'm taking my phone and I'm watching the action, and I'm using my voice to text basically feature on my iPhone, hoping that basically it's going to transcribe everything correctly, so when I'm seeing it here and stuff like that. So yeah, that being said, John Cena, which is why it went here, like I said sternum, but instead it ended up saying what did it end up saying? Yeah, start them. Yeah, so yeah, iPhone voice to text featured. Then basically getting back to the action here, the action is taken to the top rope, which John Cena pushes Cody Rhodes off of, and then delivers one of his classic leg drops from the top rope to the back of Cody's neck. He then lands the attitude adjustment, and Cody Rhodes kicks out with another near fall. John Cena then brings a Slim Jim sponsored table into the ring. John Cena goes for the attitude adjustment to Cody Rhodes, but Cody pushes the table out of the way and slides behind Cena and hits Cena with a DDT, but only gets another near fall against Cena. The battle between these two then spills out into the audience, and I'm thinking at this point, man, this match has got everything. Great wrestling, great brawling, going into the audience just like they did back in the Attitude Era and stuff. So I'm like, man, this match is fire. Just straight fire. Eventually, Cody Rhodes, he delivers a suplex to John Cena on a metal guardrail. The action then ends up going under the curtain of where the stage is, and we don't know what's going on. And John Cena does this, with Cody Rhodes on his shoulder, does this dramatic rise up, because it's the platform that Cody Rhodes rised up from, and John Cena's got this look, and it just looks hilarious with the dramatic lighting, and they got smoke coming out of it. He then delivers the attitude adjustment right to the stage ramp. From there, John Cena then lifts Cody Rhodes back onto his shoulder and starts walking down the stage into the ring, and puts Cody back into the ring. And Cena's doing a great job of selling the exhaustion of the match, and Cody Rhodes is a big guy, and that's a long ramp, so you know he's walking down there with him, and stuff like that. And from there, as Cena gets back into the ring, Cody pops up and throws Cena right through the Slim Jim sponsored table, and then he hits the crossroads, but only gets another near fall. From there, John Cena throws Cody Rhodes out of the ring, but Cody Rhodes takes a steel chair and smashes it into John Cena's face. After that, Cody Rhodes, he then loosens the bottom rope and has the steel support exposed, and then uses it against John Cena. And man, the audience starts shouting him and boos. Cody Rhodes then hits John Cena again with the steel support. So this is the part of the steel that holds the turnbuckle up that he took out. And from there, Wade Barrett on commentary has said, you gotta block out all this noise, do it, because Cody Rhodes starting to get conflicted again. Should he do this against John Cena? But he's staying with it. But eventually John Cena is able to pop up and John Cena doesn't pop up. He does a drop toe hold, I believe it is, and transitions into the STF and grabs the bottom rope to try and choke Cody Rhodes out with it. So this is similar back to his match with Umaga at Royal Rumble 2007, where he had that, he did like the STF with the ring ropes and everything and choking him out with it. So that was a great callback to that match. From there, Cody Rhodes transitions out of it and wraps the rope around Cena's neck, turning into sort of like a a headlock or anaconda vice type of maneuver. From here, John Cena gets free and goes for the attitude adjustment, but Cody Rhodes is able to turn it into 3 consecutive crossroads to score only a near massive fall, and that gets a huge ovation for the audience because so many times in big matches that's usually what gets the job done. So I thought that was a fantastic near fall because I was like, okay, he's probably losing at that point. Like, okay. From there, fans at this point start chanting Super Cena, Super Cena, Super Cena, which, man, for years that was the meme on the internet. Having grown up during John Cena's whole big babyface run in the 2000s to the early 2010s, that was the big complaint on the internet. People would call him Super Cena, and we've come to a point now where the fans love him so much that they're now chanting Super Cena, when that was the big issue with a lot of the stuff that was going on with John Cena. In terms of the way he was booked back then. From here, Cody Rhodes, he tries to hit John Cena with the championship. Unlike WrestleMania, he tries to hit John Cena with the championship, unlike WrestleMania 41. But John Cena hits him with 2 back-to-back attitude adjustments and picks up the championship, but throws it down saying, nah, he's not going to win that way. He says, nope, he's not going to go back to what he's been doing the last several months or most of this year. From there, he then gets Cody Rhodes up on top of the rope, and he does the super attitude adjustment from the top rope. But Cody Rhodes kicks out with another massive near fall, and this gets another massive ovation from the audience, and the fans at this point are chanting, "This is awesome!" Which I got to be honest, it is. This match was definitely awesome. So I really love this spot, and here's what I really liked about this spot, because you've had Cody Rhodes do multiple versions of his move and make it like it's finished. John Cena kicks out, then John Cena does multiple versions of his moves, and these are big spots that have ended big matches for them before, and Cody and Cena both kicked out, and I'm thinking like, this was great. This was a great suspense match. It definitely had me on the edge of the seat because I'm like, okay, how's this gonna end? This is phenomenal. And so from here, John Cena then introduces into the ring another Slim Jim sponsored table, with chants of "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" starts breaking out, with the table set up. John Cena then puts Cody Rhodes back onto the top of the rope and tries to go for another avalanche attitude adjustment or super attitude adjustment. Cody then reverses with a Cody cutter from the top rope, sending both of them crashing through the table. After that, John Cena then crashes into the top rope, and Cody Rhodes gives him not the top rope. John Cena actually, he gets up, but then he crashes into the middle of the rope, and he's like hanging there, almost like in the 619 position before Rey Mysterio does the move. And Cody Rhodes, he's looking, and he gives John Cena a salute. So this is very similar to like matches where you've seen Ric Flair getting up, barely having anything left, and Shawn Michaels says, "I love you," or going back later, a couple of years later, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, where Shawn, he smacks Undertaker, and Taker, he regrets it, but he gives him the whole, whole thing, the throat slash and everything before he puts him down. So we've seen this before, like you have to put them out of their misery, but you're gonna go down swinging. So that's kind of what this was reminding me of, and this is where I'm like, okay, the match is probably ending here. And so after the salute, that Cody Rhodes gives to John Cena, he then delivers the crossroads and scores the 1, 2, 3, and thus becomes the new undisputed WWE champion with a clean win. And this match was absolutely phenomenal. John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I stood up, gave them a standing ovation because, man, what a phenomenal match. John Cena and Cody Rhodes, they didn't have this emotional embrace. They had this emotional embrace in the ring. And it's truly an emotional moment because they were showing how Cody Rhodes lost to John Cena 4-0 in their entire career. And that 3-0 came at a time where a lot of fans wanted to see a guy like Cody Rhodes get taken to that next level, because because John Cena at that time was already well established. And obviously they did the 4-0 so that John Cena could get his big WrestleMania win, the 17th title. But here, 5-0, Cody Rhodes, well, 5, it's now 4-1 because Cody Rhodes got his big win over John Cena finally. And they were talking about how this was reminiscent of WrestleMania 29 back in 2013 when The Rock was defeated by John Cena, and they kind of had this passing of the torch moment, though John Cena, you could say, the torch was already passed to him. He was already a made superstar by 2013, but I get it. They were trying to go with like, hey, The Rock was the past, and he's saying John Cena is obviously the future, the current guy now and stuff. And they had this emotional moment. You can see Cody Rhodes is tearing up, and it just had to mean a lot to him because John Cena has seen Cody Rhodes develop to where he is to carry the company, and Cody Rhodes probably always wished that he would have this big giant match with John Cena, and it certainly worked out. Let's be honest, this is the match they should have had at WrestleMania 41. From there, after they do an emotional embrace and John Cena raises Cody Rhodes' hand, as you can see in the image there, Cody Rhodes then leaves the ring to John Cena, and the fans shower him in "Thank you, Cena" chants, basically. Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. And yeah, man, honestly, and I've said before, I was never the biggest John Cena fan. My guys during the Ruthless Aggression era was Batista and stuff. I was always more of a Batista and CM Punk guy and everything. And I wasn't a big fan of the way Vince McMahon handled a lot of the booking with John Cena, like many fans. But I've always given John Cena props that, hey, when he gets in the ring, he can absolutely put on a banger of a match when they weren't going to the formula of him getting beat down for like 15, 20 minutes, and he comes back with the 5 moves of doom, and then it's over. John Cena, at this stage of his career, at his age, on his A game, this was as close to a classic John Cena match that I think we've seen in years. Probably the best John Cena match since, I want to say, probably since Royal Rumble 2017, when he defeated AJ Styles to get his 16th world title. That was a phenomenal match. He was in there with a phenomenal opponent, AJ Styles, and that's not to even take away. I thought John Cena Royal Rumble, I was there in person, was fun this year. I thought John Cena's match, his Extreme Rules performance, not Extreme Rules, his Elimination Chamber performance was great. Match with Cody was okay, but his matches with Randy Orton and CM Punk, great stuff. I love that and everything. So man, yeah, this was excellent. This was as close to an old school John Cena match, close to his more prime years that we've got, and I'm proud that of him to be able to pull out this performance. Him and Cody put on an absolute classic, and that was the swerve. The swerve is that John Cena did indeed turn back to being a babyface, and him and Cody had a clean win, and it's refreshing. I think that's refreshing to be like, oh, there was no shenanigans. This was clean, 1-on-1, and they absolutely had a banger. And I think we might as well chalk this up to one of John Cena's greatest all-time matches in there, because yeah, I'm glad he was able to give us this type of performance before he went out. So yeah, like I said, I was never the biggest John Cena fan, but I do believe in giving respect where respect's due, and both these men earned the WWE Universe's respect greatly in this match. So I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And now we get to the conclusion of this event. As John Cena's in the crowd, we hear the theme song. Din, 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 din. Audience goes completely unglued after 2 years, and I was there for Brock Lesnar's last WWE match against Cody Rhodes back there at Royal Rumble. No, not Royal Rumble. SummerSlam 2023. So Brock Lesnar comes out sporting a full beard and longer hair, and man, this was crazy because I legitimately did not expect this. I thought we would probably see Brock Lesnar back in WWE one day, but I knew that it would at least not be until the whole Janelle Grant lawsuit that he was named in, basically with Vince McMahon and all that stuff. I was thinking WWE was waiting for that to go to court and all that get settled, and then they were going to make their decision. But no, TKO decided to do it here. Brock Lesnar comes out and he walks down to the ring, and yeah, the atmosphere is crazy, and he's just staring a hole at John Cena. Of course, they're talking about the history there, and so he takes off his vest, takes off his hat, and runs right into the ring. And John Cena, he tries to swing on Brock. Brock quickly dodges, and I gotta admit, I think Brock, man, like, he's in his late 40s now. Brock's a lot closer to 50 now. Looks still in phenomenal shape, still moves phenomenally, man. So Brock Lesnar gets in there, and he hits the not the attitude adjustment, the F5 on John Cena, lays him out, and I guess Brock Lesnar just had to get one last beat down in John Cena at SummerSlam. Of course, 10 years ago, he started the whole Suplex City and annihilated John Cena in that match. And it looked like the way this show ended off, they are teasing Brock Lesnar and John Cena having one more match, which I don't know if I'm clamoring for another Brock Lesnar John Cena match, to be honest. Their match at Backlash 2003 was good, so we have at least seen a heel Cena versus a babyface Brock Lesnar. We've seen that dynamic before. I was there in person in 2012. Was it Extreme Rules in 2012 at the Allstate Arena when Brock Lesnar beat the bloody crap out of John Cena, only for Cena to get the win back, and then obviously he got tormented by him by Suplex City 10 years ago at SummerSlam 2000. Was it 2015? So yeah, and then of course we eventually had that match they had where John Cena did much better in September, I think, at Night of Champions, and it just ended in chaos or no contest or whatever, which they never brought that match up again. And I don't think that was the last time we saw Brock Lesnar and John Cena one-on-one. Last any interaction was that awesome triple threat match at the Royal Rumble that I think they had. Was that in 2015? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking 2015. It was 2014. 2014 is where John Cena, it was 11 years ago. 2014 was where John Cena and Brock Lesnar had their last match at SummerSlam. And then they had that match in September at Night of Champions. And then 2015 is the triple threat match at the Royal Rumble that added Seth Rollins, which was a phenomenal match. Yeah, I think we've seen everything that really needs to be seen about Brock Lesnar and John Cena. I guess they want to run it back, but with so little few dates left, I'd rather see John Cena wrestle new opponents. And if we're gonna have a rematch, then hey, let's get Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. Maybe let CM Punk get that win back, because that match they had in 2013 was awesome. But yeah, nonetheless, this was a shocking way to go out on WWE. I didn't think WWE would do something like this, but yeah, he's back, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people angry, a lot of people are going to be excited. Hopefully this means that we're going to finally get Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. That's been one of the big dream matches, but obviously by the time Gunther came onto the scene in WWE, the whole thing with Brock Lesnar kind of just went away. Brock Lesnar went away for 2 years, but yeah, it's going to be interesting now to see where WWE goes from here as they head into the fall. There's a rumored draft, so you're going to put new people on new shows, but I don't know if that matters much anyway, because they don't take the draft serious, as we've seen this year. So yeah, definitely interested, and it's definitely created headlines. That's one of the reasons why I had to delay my stream, so I can go ahead and make a graphic and put Brock Lesnar in there. So yeah, this is definitely a good way to go out, I think, in terms of making people talk about the show. And they firmly established John Cena is indeed a babyface now. So there you go. Overall, I thought WWE SummerSlam Night 2 was absolutely a success. Absolutely phenomenal show. Overall, thought it was better than night one. Night one was good, but night two was that much better. And just fusing both shows together for an overall weekend event, I give SummerSlam, double thumbs up this year. This was I thought it was a really strong SummerSlam. There were a couple of matches and stuff that was kind of a little bit low there. And I'll make that in my ranking, but overall, just really good show. And what's really good, you had a very I thought good SummerSlam with two great main events. The World Championship main events killed it. John Cena and CM Punk this late in their careers still putting on absolute bangers with Cody Rhodes and Gunther. So yeah, overall SummerSlam night 2 absolutely great.